So we are dropping into the draft in Navi versus Mousesports. This is going to be game 2 of the series. Navi took game 1. Navi, traditionally regarded as one of the better Dota teams in the world, certainly one of the better Dota teams in Europe. Lately, there has been some underwhelming performance from Navi. Whether or not that's a function of them actually underperforming, or if expectations, the bar is just set so high for Navi. That's kind of a debatable issue. Importantly, in game 1, really solid draft from Navi, really smart play, along with some early kills on a Dendy gyrocopter allowed them to just absolutely dominate Mousesports. So pretty excited about actually watching the rest of this series. The first few bans come out. Navi gets rid of Wisp and Coddle. Makes sense. We don't like seeing Wisp if you're trying to play a reasonable game of Dota. Her ability to teleport heroes around the map is just going to be incredibly obnoxious, so she's immediately banned out of the pool. We also get Bat Rider and Nyx Assassin banned. Nyx Assassin, really top tier pick right now. His ability to stun back all of the incoming sources of damage from him, just absolutely ridiculous. And Bat Rider, of course, has a stun that will go through magic immunity. That guy's just huge and all kinds of aggravating and more than capable of winning mid decisively. We see Navi pick up Darkseer as their first pick.
5 seconds
and that makes a lot of sense, right? We see Darkseer in pretty much every game that he's not banned in. Especially lately, he's been favored as a very strong offlane hero, and realistically, Darkseer is going to do well wherever you stick him. You can put him in the jungle if you need to, you can send him mid, you can put him in that offlane, and he's going to be safe. Ion Shell allows him to just stand back and continue to farm. And the power that is double Ion Shell can force most heroes in the game out of their lane. We do see Mousesports pick up Magnus and Gyrocopter. That's not unexpected since those heroes made it through the ban pool. This is typically the trifecta of heroes that we see. Either they get banned or they get picked right off the bat. Magnus, with his big team fight ultimate, has the capability to just absolutely demolish Navi, even if Mousesports is way behind. And Gyrocopter is favored as a carry who comes online relatively early, doesn't need a whole lot of farm, and is just plain effective, especially in the early game with his flat cannon. He has the capability to just kill anybody that he gets isolated with. We do see Lifestealer picked out of Navi. The Lifestealer pick here makes a lot of sense. He is going to be one of the harder carries in the game right now. It's interesting that they would pick him against Magnus and Gyrocopter, because Lifestealer, one of his big boons is that he comes with magic immunity built in on a timer. And Magnus and Gyrocopter both have ultimates that somewhat go through his magic immunity, so that's a little bit curious. We'll see if Lifestealer has trouble keeping on top of Gyrocopter through these ults, that kind of thing. Rubik getting picked up makes a lot of sense. Rubik's ability to steal big teamfight ultimates is huge. He'll be able to, over the course of a fight, maybe get a Magnus ult, maybe get a Gyrocopter ult. He's just a safe pick in general. And it's kind of interesting to see. Okay, so we have Anti-Mage picked up by Mousesports. Anti-Mage, a hero that dominated the scene for a very, very long time. We just haven't seen him with the frequency lately that we used to. We do see Navi ban out Shadow Demon. That makes sense. Shadow Demon is the ubiquitous support hero. His ability to lay out the full damage combo that he has, and also to protect teammates by disrupting them, is just absolutely game changing. We do see Lone Druid get banned out by Mousesports. That makes a lot of sense if they're assuming that Darkseer is going to go mid. They're trying to ensure that Darkseer has to long lane, I think, right now, by that Syllabear ban. Navi here probably going to be looking to ban out. Magnus will most likely go mid. Gyrocopter is going to look like he's going to go in the long lane, so Mousesports is going to want to run some sort of tri-lane for Anti-Mage. And there we see the Leshrac get banned out so that he can't tri-lane with Anti-Mage. We get Enigma banned out. That makes some sense. That's a big team fight ult that you can turn around. Disruptor banned. Disruptor is a hero who he synergizes incredibly well with Lifestealer, with his ability to put down, oh my gosh, the Ion Shells. They're not Ion Shells. energy fields, the kinetic fields. That's what they're called, kinetic fields. That enemy heroes cannot move through. So you can trap someone inside of that circle with Lifestealer, and he'll really go to town.
Navi's turn to pick.
Chen getting banned out by Mousesports. I guess it's not really typical to see Chen banned anymore. Typically, if they're going to ban out a jungle hero, they're going to ban out Enchantress because her right-click damage is just so crazy. It is interesting to see that even...
Stands ready.
Okay, so we'll get Sven.
Turn to pick.
And I would imagine Sven's going to play a support role in a tri-lane, maybe with Lifestealer. And we might see Darkseer in the off lane with Rubik mid. That would be my best guess here. But as far as the bans go, Mousesports, even with the Lone Druid pick, banning out 3 heroes that traditionally are relatively competent junglers. In Chen's case, that's what he's good for. In Enigma's case, that's what he's good for. Syllabear, Lone Druid, he has the capacity to jungle if needed.
Remaining.
So they're just trying to funnel down Navi's laning options right now, making sure that they get Navi's heroes in the lanes that they want to see them in. Mousesports here are going to want to pick up a support for their tri-lane. They're going to want to pick up a pair of supports for their tri-lane, I would imagine. I would think that we will see. Yeah, there's the Bane pick. Bane really huge. That gives Mousesports 3 different abilities that go through BKB and Magic Immunity, which is going to be huge against the Lifestealer. And we do see Navi pick up Shadow Fiend. So it looks like their lanes are going to be, I would imagine, Shadow Fiend mid with Darkseer in the off lane, and then a Lifestealer Rubik Sven tri-lane. And Mousesports still going to need one more support hero for their tri-lane, because we will see Magnus in the offlane, or Gyrocopter in the offlane, and Magnus mid in all likelihood.
10 seconds
We'll see what we get here as they go down into their reserve time. Mousesports, not a lot of reserve time left, actually, so we'll see a pick here sooner than later. Just a question of what support they feel like is going to complement their tri-lane most effectively. I would imagine they could take an Enchantress if they wanted to dual lane and stick her in the jungle. You know, she's not been banned out of this game, and her right click damage is just absolutely crazy. She makes tons of appearances. Okay, so Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet's going to give them some global pushing power. I wonder how they're going to lane this now. Prophet might be mid, and we might just see a Bane Anti-Mage dual lane. Or Prophet would be jungle, not mid. I apologize for that. And we do see... okay, so it looks like Navi has a stand-in to this game. Yeah, they have a stand-in who is going to be on their... Why is my camera control not what it should be? Navi has a stand-in on their Rubik in place of Dindy for this game. So that puts... I apologize. That puts Medved on the Rubik for Navi. We see Assad on the Sven, Light of Heaven on the Lifestealer, Puppy on Shadow Fiend, and Havast, who is now Havast YOLO, on the Darkseer. Over on the Dire side, we see Fata on the Gyrocopter. Pretty commonplace for him to play that role. Black is going to be on the Anti-Mage. Alex is on the Bane. Karaki is on the Magnus. And Pos is going to be playing the Nature's Prophet for them. The Nature's Prophet Treant's going to go ahead and come out. They're going to be used to do a little bit of preliminary scouting, make sure that they don't have any rude surprises, and maybe even get a little bit of early scouting information about which lanes are going to be where, and that kind of shenanigans. And we won't be seeing any crazy pregame First Bloods or anything like that, as the two teams are more or less on opposite sides of the map, and the Dire's kind of fanning out into their lanes already. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how these lanes work out because of Nature's Prophet. We do have an Illusion Rune on the bottom. I doubt that'll lead to a First Blood. They might just deny it off. And Rubik's gonna pick that up. Okay. Alex and Karaki kind of peeking at him a little bit, but I don't think they want to engage into this fight. They just don't have enough of Navi accounted for right now. they're going to hide back in the forest over here, possibly looking to get a free first blood on Havast. Havast, of course, not going to know that they're there because he doesn't have vision uphill, and there it is. We got the Nightmare out on Havast, and he's impaled him, and the flat cannon off the gyrocopter, but with that Darkseer Surge, he is going to manage to avoid that first blood. And a little bit of support comes up from Assad and Medved, but they're not needed. Let's go ahead and switch on the last hits and denies here. We got Puppy down here. There's nobody in his lane right now, so he's free farming, and that honestly is really shocking to me. Something that you want to make sure that never happens is that a Shadow Fiend gets free farm early in the game. With his Necromastery, every time he kills a creep, he's going to get a charge of Necromastery, and that's going to give him extra bonus damage, and that's going to fuel his ultimate later. We do have a little bit of action up here as Kuroki is getting picked up by the Rubik. The gyrocopter rocket goes off, but everybody's going to clear back out again just fine. And they'll probably settle down into their lanes, which look like a Magnus Bane tri-lane top. Are they just going to abandon the bottom lane? That's curious. I would imagine we'll see Magnus go down there at some point. And then the the two support heroes and Light of Heaven for Navi in the jungle right now, so they've abandoned top lane. Pretty interesting that we're seeing both teams sort of decide to just give up on a lane like that. That's not typical competitive Dota play, but we do see it from time to time. I've watched Navi do it in the past. And the 2-minute rune's going to come up. Poss is going to see that. Whether or not he's going to pick that up, yeah, he's going to grab that. And I don't know that there's a whole lot he can make happen with it. He might try to get a kill on mid, but he just goes back to jungling. I'm really surprised that Mouse is okay with Puppy just free farming his souls right now. You know, more importantly than the fact that they're giving him free gold, they're not worried about giving him free gold, but, you know, that's, right now he's got 40 bonus damage. That means he's doing double the damage that he should be right now at this level, which is only going to get bigger as his maximum number of souls increases, and he's skilling that pretty quickly. We do see that Anti-Mage, though, is getting his farm on. 18 and 5 keeps him right up on par with the Shadow Fiend, as, well, really there's just not a whole lot going on the map right now. We're 3 minutes in, and there was certainly first blood by 3 minutes in the previous game, but both teams just kind of playing it safe. They've got a fair amount of both of the squads in the jungle right now, and they're just content to farm up. I would imagine that Mouse, well, I know Mouse wants to just farm because, let's be honest, once they hit level 6, they're going to be rocking and rolling. As we see Anti-Mage come behind this tier 1 top tower, trying to get a little bit of extra tower damage on it. He's going to hope to push that down Relic to the door. We do have the Rocket Barrage going off on Havast, as well as the Heat-Seeking Missile. He's going to surge away from that. The missile's going to hit him for a little bit of extra damage, but not enough to kill him. And Fanta just kind of exerting that presence and pressure that Gyrocopter is known for. And that leads us to a pretty probable push top. Anti-Mage is probably going to be saving up for a Battle Fury, I would imagine. Gyrocopter bottles himself an Illusion Rune. We do have Nature's Prophet TPM, so yeah, they're going to start pushing down this top tower. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Navi feels like they can defend this. I feel like Mousesports' lineup at this level is significantly stronger than Navi's. And Navi goes in on Fanta and is going to get the kill there, and they secure the first blood, but they do lose their tier 1 top tower in the process. Mousesports says, fine, you don't want to defend that, we'll push your T2. Navi is certainly going to have to come back for this. Havast is not going to be able to push down this tower in any reasonable amount of time versus the 4 Mousesports heroes who are hitting their T2 currently. Navi, though, not use the fort since they decided not to engage on their tier 1. But that tower is already a quarter health, and there's just not a whole lot of rotation from Navi right now. The Fortify does come out, and we have Medved and Assad kind of positioning and threatening, but they're going to let the T2 fall. So at 5 minutes, we've got both of the top towers down for Navi. That's pretty interesting to see that they really just don't want to commit to fighting right now. They don't feel confident in it. I'm surprised that since they killed the gyrocopter that they didn't take advantage of that and try to defend that tower. I feel like the gyrocopter is a significant portion of Mousesports' early damage. Meanwhile, down on the bottom lane, we still got Puppy free farming it up. He's now got 27 souls with a maximum of 28, and there's his 28th. He's got 42 last hits. So that keeps him ahead of Anti-Mage in the last hits. But we do see, of course, because of the tower, there's a 2,000 gold advantage for the Dire right now, while the creep advantage, or the XP advantage, is about half that in the Radiant's favor. YOLO sitting down here, Havast, waiting to see if he can snipe off a rune. It's going to be an Invis rune top, which Vada's going to pick up. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to gank with this. He's not been very active so far. We do see the fortification to stop some of the damage going on Dire's bottom tower. Shadow Fiend Puppy is just going to back away a little bit. We got a lot of aggressive positioning out of Mousesports right now as they sort of surround that middle tower. And we do have the homing missile in on Havast. Havast it's going to be successfully killed between the tower and the Rubik. The courier just brought some items out to some. It'll be interesting to see what that is. Okay, that's the Perseverance for Anti-Mage's Battle Fury. So he's got a 7-minute Perseverance, right? Like, that's not a bad timing at all. Fata still is just trying to make use of that Invis rune, trying to get in position for something big, as we have Black rotate up to contest the farm from the Sven. It's pretty interesting to see that now this is the effective usage of the map that Navi has. They haven't had anyone venture past this line since the game started. So they really just decided to completely and totally sacrifice that entire area of the map right now. Another homing missile comes in just to be annoying on Havas, but the tower and the Rubik going to take it down. And we still see Bane just kind of chilling here like he wants to get a kill. We're going to see that in the hero levels, the Magnus and the Bane are paying for that, in that they're both level 3, while Navi's 2 supports are going to be level 4 right now. But I think the gold advantage is going to help to equalize that for sure. Anti-Mage here is going to have like a 12-minute Battle Fury, no prob. Which is going to be pretty sweet for him. He's going to get his farm on pretty massively early. And Fata just continues to be annoying with that gyrocopter homing missile. He's not really worried about feeding them 30 gold. We do see now that Necromastery's maxed out for Shadow Fiend, so he's getting 75 bonus damage off of his souls right now, making him most certainly the most damaging player in the game. And he's going to try to push this tower down with that pushing power. And he's got himself a Hanamitis, which I believe he just picked up, which is going to further increase his farm. If we look at gold per minute, it's interesting to note that even though there's a tower advantage right now for Mousesports, the gold per minute graph says that Shadow Fiend Puppy is farming the best. And we've got a big engagement coming mid. It's going to be our first real team fight. The homing missile is out, stuns Havast. Navi kind of behind their tower, not really wanting to engage into this. Havas surges himself forward. Assad the Rubik lifts up the Bane. Assad stuns him. A little bit of overlap there. That was some bad communication. And here comes Shadow Fiend. That rocket barrage damage is just so crazy. It forces him back almost immediately. Fata gonna again just blow up the Rubik. And we see the early game power of a gyrocopter. That guy can put out an absolutely obnoxious amount of damage, and it's going to give Mousesports another T1 tower. So the gold advantage was evening back out, but we see that it's going to slide back down to 1,000 in the favor of the Dire. And that makes the game even at 2-2. I don't know that that was a very favorable engagement for Navi, most certainly. They were hoping to get something a lot better out of that, but the Sven stun overlapped with the Rubik pickup, so their stun duration just wasn't enough. It wasn't what it could be. Shadow Fiend, though, didn't use his ultimate, and we didn't see any involvement from Nakes in that fight from Light of Heaven. Anti-Mage gets picked up here by the Rubik, gets Sven stunned, and here come those hands from Shadow Fiend. Anti-Mage blinks away. Sven's chasing him, but that Anti-Mage's blink cooldown is significantly shorter than Assad's stun cooldown, and he's going to blink away to safety, no problem. Meanwhile, mid, Karaki is going to be pushing in just a little bit. We're going to go over and check out the last hits and denies again. we do see that Lifestealer just not getting the farm. Even with his Hand of Midas, he's not got the last hits that any of the other carries in the game have. And he's going to be playing for a much later game than pretty much anybody in this, with the exception of Anti-Mage. So that's not too bad right now. We'll hope to see him pick up pretty quickly as Navi counter wards the Observer that was up near their ancient stack. I do apologize. My sickness has not quite gone away yet. We have Kuroki trying to posture like he's going to defend the tier 1 tower, and we do get a little bit of TP support in from Gyrocopter. Kuroki gets picked up by the Rubik. There's the Spin Stun, and he just gets absolutely melted. But we do get the call down from Gyrocopter. Gets a decent amount of damage on Assad, who will fall. Havas trying to run out of there, surges himself, but he's going to fall too. So that's going to be 2 heroes for 1 in the favor of Mousesports, and that's something they got to be pretty comfortable about, considering, you know, their Anti-Mage is just getting his farm on right now. This feels like a fairly disorganized game out of both teams, and certainly is not indicative of the kind of high gank, high action Dota that we would normally expect from them, and indeed what we saw in game 1. And there's your 11-minute Battle Fury on Anti-Mage, guys. That guy is going to flash farm like a mug. We'll probably see his net worth skyrocket here in just a minute, because even though the 2 carries from Navi are rocking Hand of Midas's, with that 11-minute Battle Fury, Anti-Mage is just going to go into this jungle and he's going to absolutely decimate everything. Fata, though, gets an Invis rune. He's going to go ganking with that. We have Kuraki coming in as well. He might be looking to skewer Light of Heaven. He does have his reverse polarity if he wants to spin that. That can allow him to keep Light of Heaven isolated, even though he can, you know, he has the capacity to become magic immune. We see they're probably just going to push with that, though, as Nature's Prophet TP's in. The Treants come out, and they start marching their way towards the tower. Nature's Prophet 2 has a Hand of Midas. There's just a Hand of Midas everywhere in this game. Arcane boots up on Kuroki, so he's going to be able to spam his skills much more effectively. And looks like Navi's trying to go for the mid-tower trade. The Nature's Prophet ultimate comes out, Kuroki comes back. And we do see the Ogre Club picked up from Shadow Fiend, the first part of his BKB. We have Nakes teleporting down to try to scare off the Nature's Prophet, but with Nature's Prophet and Bane there, there's not a whole lot he can do about it by himself. We do see Fata picked up. They do have vision of him from that Sentry Ward up the hill. There's the reverse polarity and the call down. Havas taking a lot of damage, but they managed to kill Kuraki. Now they're going to be chasing down Fata. We see Havas surging himself up. He's got that Ion Shell on, and here comes the Shadow Fiend, and Sven gets him from below. Meanwhile, though, Anti-Mage just happily farming during all this. The net worth on the Shadow Fiend being propped up somewhat by the number of hero kills that they just got. And we see that the gold graph is going to slide a little bit back in Navi's advantage. But their tier 3 top tower is already at about half health, and Anti-Mage is just steady whacking away at it. Darkseer's going to TP down after getting the middle tower, but, you know, he's not going to be able to kill Anti-Mage here. At best, he's going to be able to sort of shoo him off from the lane. And Anti-Mage, you know, says I've had enough of this and turns around and hits him a couple times. We will see some pushing action from Light of Heaven bottom, but some TP support from Gyro tells him it's a bad idea to continue to be there, and he backs away. Gyro's already purchased the first part of his BKB, so we should expect to see a BKB up on him in just a couple minutes. Alex on the Bane has picked up some smoke, so hopefully we'll see some ganking action. Speaking of smoke, we have Navi smoked up in the top lane. They're hunting for Anti-Mage. Between the Rubik and the Sven, they should have enough stun power to take him down. They just have to make sure that they initiate on him, that Sven stun doesn't get disjointed. Rubik's going to lead that off, most likely, because Anti-Mage has less time, or really no time, to react to the Rubik pickup, whereas the Sven stun's a projectile. Interesting, Anti-Mage not scared, gets picked up, gets stunned on top of that, and will go down. That's a pretty big kill for Navi right here, as Anti-Mage had a respectable amount of gold on his person. I would imagine he lost about 300 or 400 gold in that kill, which is going to put him off any of his mid-game items a little bit longer, but that's going to come at a price, as we do see the tier 1 bottom tower fall for Navi. The pushing power of that Nature's Prophet is just going to be omnipresent during this entire game. Light of Heaven is just kind of poking around in his jungle. I feel like he's a little bit out of position. I would be frightened for him if I didn't know what I knew about the hero's positioning right now. And we see that Black is going to TP back top and just resume his turbo farm. Mouse, though, not stopping with the T1 tower. They're going on the T1 bottom, or the T2 bottom tower for Navi. Navi does not have a fortification, and there's no TPs coming down right now. There's the first TP, second TP, but I don't know. There's the third TP, and Light of Heaven comes down from above, and there's the full roster for Navi teleporting in. Here comes the call down. And that tower is ridiculously low. Light of Heaven gets on Fana with the open wounds, and there is the Fiend's Grip from Bane, keeping Light of Heaven out of this fight regardless of the magic immunity. Big reverse polarity, gets 2 people. Here's Puppy's ultimate. He's going to take out Gyrocopter with it, and he's chasing down Alex on that Bane. And we just see the amount of damage output that Puppy has right now. He blows Bane up. And they're still trying to get their chase on Kuroki. Kuroki doesn't have the cooldown. Is he going to get spotted and stunned? No, not quite. He gets away. Meanwhile, though, Anti-Mage just continues his farm, man. Back up to 1,300 gold. I would imagine the next item he's going to pick up is going to be... it's probably going to be a BKB with Shadow Fiend around. Shadow Fiend just does obnoxious amounts of magic damage if you let him. It's pretty interesting to note that Navi has just absolutely not chosen to defend any of their towers except for that tier 1 mid. They did get the deny on the bottom tower, but their response to it was pretty slow. That would indicate to me that they were trying to figure out whether or not they were going to bother defending it. They're obviously not wanting to engage before they feel like their team is effective. And I do feel like Navi has the better late game lineup. Between their 3 carries, they should reasonably expect to outcarry the Gyrocopter and the Anti-Mage, unless they let the Anti-Mage go uncontested. Which, as we see by his singular death in this game, he's been doing pretty well for himself. Puppy, though, 4-0. That's a respectable score. He's level 12 at 17 minutes. That's not bad at all. And we should see a big ticket item come out on him relatively soon, since he's got his BKB now. I'm just kind of working through and checking everybody out. Looks like the next item up on Lifestealer is going to be the Armlet. Armlet, of course, just absolutely huge for that hero. The bonus strength, he does absolutely tons of damage, and with his innate lifesteal, you know, Armlet's not killing him the entire time like it is most heroes. We do have a Haste Rune top, which Puppy's gonna bottle. We have 3 Mousesports players pretty close by, but they don't have any vision. The closest their vision's gonna be is about in that range. And he does activate it in time to snag up the regen rune. That was a pretty lucky pickup for him. We see Sven he's got the first item for his BKB. He'll have that done in about 10 minutes or so. And Rubik, of course, not getting any CS, just has his arcane boots. Light of Heaven goes ahead and finishes up that armlet. But we do have a Roshan attempt by Mouse. Navi not got any vision of this right now. And the damage off of Gyrocopter is going to bring this Roshan down relatively quickly. When this Roshan dies, that's going to finish the BKB for Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter with a BKB, of course, a force to be reckoned with. And that's also going to represent a pretty significant chunk of what's needed to complete Manta for Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage picks up the Aegis, and there's the big reverse polarity. Stops Puppy from being effective right off the bat. There's the skewer in. Puppy is flailing about. Oh, he's in Fiend's Grip. And we have the token burn on Anti-Mage. Magnus goes down. Gyrocopter down. That was a pretty big ult from Puppy. Puppy still chasing. Gonna get himself a Nature's Prophet. And that gives Puppy right now 6-0. That's nothing to sneeze at. This guy's got 3,100 gold sitting around on him right now. And I believe Navi's gonna get themselves a tower out of this Roshan attempt by Mousesports. Pretty interesting that Navi came in where they did. Mousesports, of course, has so much vision of this area, but Navi just came in from the top and still managed to surprise them. I'm not sure if they smoked in order to do that or what, but this is certainly a welcome tower kill for Navi. That's really going to help equalize that gold graph and probably push it just a little bit in their favor. While the XP graph tells a very different story. It tells me that Navi is just going to get bigger and bigger. Kuroki is going to finish up his Blink Dagger, though. I don't believe he had it for that fight. And we should see an Ultimate Orb out on Anti-Mage pretty soon. Is he going to get ganked here is the question. Light of Heaven can't do a whole lot himself, but if they can force Anti-Mage to blink back up into the lane, they might be able to get the kill. Anti-Mage, though, just blinks deeper into the forest. He's going to TP right out. Poss getting up some creeps, going to put a little bit more pressure on that T3 bottom, and Navi looks like they want to try to take the T1 top. Rip Anthony the Sauce Rinaldi's liver. I'm glad that he could peel himself away from his booze to join us this evening. As the top tier tower falls for Mousesports, that's going to bring the gold graph over into Navi's favor for really the first time this game. And that's pretty huge for them, as I would imagine they feel like their heroes are starting to come online at this point in the game. We do have 5 Mousesports heroes at or near the tier 2 mid tower for Navi, so they're going to force TPs back to base to stop them from really continuing to pester Navi right now. Anti-Mage gets a little bit of tower damage in it and blinks out. Yes, another victim indeed. So we do have smoke up on Bane. And Havas just showing us how powerful Ion Shell is right there. He just desolated that entire creep raid, including Nature's Prophet Trance, who are supposed to be magic resistant. But, you know, it doesn't always work out that way, I'm afraid. And it looks like we've got the rest of Vladimir's up on Darkseer. That's pretty good pickup for him right now. That's going to give double lifesteal to Lifestealer, which he will be very happy about, and also is going to give Sven some more survivability as he tries to finish up his BKB. Kuroki showing off that he knows how to use the stop command. We're all very impressed, of course. Oh no, I just unvoiced the sauce. I need to revoice him and then op him. No, I just unvoiced him again. I am the worst operator of Twitch TV IRC chat known to man. Still got an Invis rune bottled up on Fauna, and be interested to see them let that run out without doing something with it, honestly. As PS has got his mechanism up. That mechanism is decently timed. 22 minutes is not going to be game-breaking, but it is going to be game-changing as we get some TP support in top. We got 4 Mousesports players, soon to be 5, so this might be a team fight here. Assad just kind of positioning himself a little bit forward, gets a Observer Ward down. The homing missile comes out on him, but Shadow Fiend with that Desolator now is going to take it out pretty quickly. Magnus blinks away to safety. Anti-Mage deciding not to commit in this, and Nature's Prophet continuing to push. So it looks like Navi right now trying to posture for this T2 tower kill, but they've got to be worried about Nature's Prophet, right? They can't just leave him down there with their barracks. So I would imagine they're going to get this really quickly and then back out. Rubik takes a few shots at the homing missile, it goes down, and yeah, there's the Light of Heaven TPing back to deal with this massive wave of trees, and really a big creep wave in general. That was a pretty good engagement, a pretty good play by Navi there. Brings the gold graph 2,000 in their favor, though the XP graph is equalizing somewhat. And the Aegis is only going to be up for another 2 minutes, right? The Aegis hasn't been popped already, did it? It was popped, I apologize. It was popped mid right after it was acquired. I remember that now. So the net worth of Navi is pretty well higher by, you know, on their carries right now than I would imagine that Mousesports would like. That Gyrocopter being behind Nature's Prophet is not something that they're going to want. Of course, Nature's Prophet is such a good farmer. Gyro just kind of needs to put his heels into it. But Fauna not really getting a lot of kills. You know, he's 1-4 right now. That's a lot of deaths. And he's Sven stun. He's pulled into the Darkseer illusion wall. We've got Big Ol coming out from Puppy. Is he going to cancel? He's Fiend's Grip right now. He's going to try to ult, but his BKB's already down. That flat cannon just blows him up. And that's a 5-man wipe for Mousesports. We do get a Sven buyback, and Sven's going to be able to delay this push with his AoE stun. But really, that was a disastrous engagement for Navi. You know, their Rubik ulti didn't get used, the Lifestealer ulti didn't get used, the Shadow Fiend ulti didn't get used, and the Darkseer wall was just less than effective. So that's going to be a lot of gold, which is going to turn the graph right back around in favor of Mousesports, and a lot of experience. Nature's Prophet is going to back out, and that's all in all a pretty successful venture on the part of Mousesports. Roshan will be back up in, you know, this thing. I hate this thing. I'm going to be the first to tell you right now. I find this to be absolutely atrocious. I don't know why it doesn't have real-world numbers on it. I understand that it's a clock, right? And I'm just going to read it as a clock, but it should just have numbers on it. There's no reason for it not to. Light of Heaven just goes ahead and uses that rage to stop taking some mana burn off of the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage, of course, known as the most fair hero in Dota. And with 4,000 gold on this person, I'd be interested to see what he's going to pick up next. I would imagine he's going to want to go ahead and finish out his butterfly with the kind of money that he's got saved up right now. He might just be saving for buyback, though. You know, pro players, they don't buy items in pieces like you and I do. They carefully manage, and we do have a smoke mid. We got 4 heroes from Navi smoked up. Looks like they're going to be attempting a gank on either Karaki or Pos. You know, they're hoping right now, and there's the BKB up on Anti-Mage. He just straight picks that up, and that'll be a really useful item for him in the coming engagements. Assad getting himself into position. Darkseer gets surged up, and I feel like this is a pretty dead Nature's Prophet right here. There's the vacuum back in. Sven tosses out his Storm Hammer, and yeah, that's a dead Nature's Prophet. He can try to TP out all he likes. Meanwhile, though, Anti-Mage man just keeps farming. And if we look at the gold per minute graph, I imagine, yeah, Anti-Mage is up there with the best of them, only being eclipsed right now by Shadow Fiend. And Shadow Fiend, of course, just lots of built-in pushing power on that hero. With the way that his Shadow Rays works, he can just blow up entire lanes. And that Desolator's not hurting either. Navi is going to put some pressure on the T3 top tower from Mouse. Magnus blinks out, decides better of it, decides he's not got the support that he would need. I felt like that would have been a pretty good reverse polarity if all of his teammates were there, though. And with the creeps arriving at the T3 bottom tower, Navi's just going to wisely choose to back on out. We will see Roshan up in about 2 minutes here. So that should be an interesting point of contention for the two teams. We do have some... Oh, nice dodge out of that Sven stun with the Manta style, using it to disjoint right before the stun hit. That was really close. I imagine he might have been dead if it had hit him. Puppey should have just blown him up. Let's see if we have any more big items coming out. Rubik's going to finish, or is going to pick up a Staff of Wizardry. I'd imagine that's going to go into an Orchid, perhaps. Might go into a Yule's, give him a little bit of extra survivability. And we see an Ultimate Orb picked up on Prophet, and a Demon Edge picked up on Gyrocopter. So Gyrocopter is probably going to have himself a Monkey King bar here pretty quickly. And once he has that MKB, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Hyperstone comes out for Lifestealer. Hyperstone probably going to be built into an AC on this hero. An AC, of course, just so good. The armor buff and the armor debuff for your enemies and the attack speed. You just can't go wrong with an AC. There is the possibility that he'll build a Mjolnir because of Nature's Prophet's trees. He wants to do a little bit of splash damage, but I don't see that as likely as an AC right now. And Roshan will be up here in just about a minute. We do see Mouse drops a Sentry Ward here to make sure that Navi doesn't have vision, so they're already posturing like they're getting ready to go for this. Navi, you know, they have clocks in their world, so they also are going to kind of huddle around this Roshan as we get ready for him to respawn. Black continues to just be the annoying farmer that Anti-Mage can be, and really it's very hard to tell how this engagement at Roshan's going to go, as Roshan does respawn, or if there's going to be engagement at all. Both teams want him. Navi, though, just has to be very careful. If they get down into this low ground, you know, being held in by all of these terrain features, a reverse polarity could just absolutely blow them out of the water. Especially now, you know, Anti-Mage is doing a reasonable amount of damage, and he's cleaving that damage too. It can be incredibly bad for them if they engage in the wrong place. The Gyrocopter call down comes out top, which is Navi's gonna smoke up. That's gonna signal them to go in. We'll see. They have to know that there's a Sentry Ward nearby, so they're not trying to reveal themselves right now. But they can't just let this top tower go unchallenged, because if they do leave Gyrocopter up there, he will push that out. So what they're going to do right now is they're looking, now that they're already smoked up, they're looking for a pick-off, right? And we do see Gyrocopter's going to TP back for the fight. And Light of Heaven's going to TP out. Both teams are just going to kind of back away. And I imagine this is going to open the door for Mouse to take a Roshan here, which Anti-Mage goes in on. And yeah, he's doing a pretty significant chunk of damage right now. The Courier's coming out with something for somebody. What we got? We got some TP scrolls coming out. Exciting Dota. Fanta about 1,100 gold off of finishing his Monkey King bar. Monkey King bar is going to be, you know, gigantic because the amount of damage that it puts on him is just absolutely fantastic. We do have the Fiend's Grip come out on the Rubik. Darkseer wall goes down, but Rubik is out immediately. The homing missile is going to hit Sven, and he's going to go down. Anti-Mage, though, with his BKB, just going to town on Light of Heaven. Anti-Mage showing exactly why that hero is the terror that he is. Light of Heaven tries to infest a creep, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive as he gets dunked down by Anti-Mage. That's a triple kill for Anti-Mage. That's pretty good for him, I must say. And I don't believe that Mousesports lost a single hero in that engagement. So they have to be feeling pretty confident right now. And Navi really has to be wondering exactly what went wrong, right? They were in such control of this game, but now the XP graph shows a 7,500 in favor of the Dire, and the gold graph rapidly climbing as well. And we'll go ahead and check out the buyback status on the Navi heroes. Lifestealer does have a buyback, but you know he's not going to want to use that on this tower if he doesn't have to. And there's the Lifestealer buyback. Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. That's a lot of farm that he just threw away. But he has to. And we do have the homing missile coming in on Sven. Sven's already thrown out his stun. Light of Heaven gets in on the Bane. Here comes Kuroki. Kuroki's going to use the reverse polarity, pulls Light of Heaven in. Oh, wow, that's just tons of damage. Puppy gets a big ult, and they do manage to stun Anti-Mage down, but here comes Gyrocopter with that rocket barrage, man. I mean, he just does an absolute ton of damage. The right-click damage out from Puppy, not negligible, though, but I just don't think Navi's going to be able to protect this tower. We have, you know, all of the Mouse heroes still alive, even if they're only at half health, and there goes Assad down on his dead. This is going to be a pair of bottom racks dead for Navi. Puppy, though, does manage to pick up the Bay, and the Sprout comes down on Havast. Havast gets trapped with Anti-Mage, not a place that he wanted to be for sure. Anti-Mage, though, has that Aegis token. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. And Navi, well, here comes the Skewer out, which actually pulls the remaining Navi hero out of the Gyrocopter call. And Navi's going to wisely call GG on this one and go straight into game number 3. That makes, you know, that makes for a pretty much an upset, I would say. The game was really close for a really long time, but I felt like Puppy was just doing well enough for himself that he should have dominated that game. But in reality, they let this guy farm way too much. He finished this game with 7,200 gold on it. That man was doing well for himself. Gold per minute shows Anti-Mage was 716. That's a pretty high number, to be perfectly honest. And that's going to be game 2, which is going to equalize it out. We're going to go to game 3 here with Navi against Mousesports in just a moment.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.